Welcome back, y'all. I'm feeling a little bit better than I was yesterday. I was feeling a little discouraged, because I'm just trying to like get back into the flow of things. I just came back from a long little healing retreat, and it was completely different from what I thought it was going to be. And obviously, I'll give you guys more information on that later, because tomorrow I'm going to be taking a trip and I'm going to be recording the intro for the new confessions. So it's going to be amazing. I'm super excited. It is, like I mentioned, it is going to be a little bit more real than I have been, a little bit more open. And I decided, in spite of the rejection and in spite of the judgment, I was going to put it out there because there's a lot of stuff that happened and a lot of stuff that personally, I don't do drama. I have made it my life's business to separate myself from drama. But in these past few months, I had such a need for community that I trusted the wrong people, and I was trying to be close to my family, and then obviously that didn't work out because they're just as toxic as any of the other relationships or the other friendships that I've had, which I think is interesting because I've had a lot of like drug addict friends and never had that much drama. We just separated from each other's lives because, I was trying to choose a different path and staying clean and staying sober. And of course, with that comes along with a lot of responsibility. And, I was doing really good in my job. There was a lot of pressure from school because, I'm a straight A student. And keeping those grades up when you're mentally shutting down is very difficult. And I was trying to do it without the substances and without, the alcohol and all of that. But even then, I found myself dabbling back into the drinking, and it was really hard for the past few months. There was also a significant loss that I had in my life, and losing a child is very difficult. So I'm still healing from that. But I also feel like there's so much more trauma that was involved in toxic relationships and toxic friendships, and even just trying to deal with my family. And it's crazy because like when you want space, you need space. Like, but nobody was trying to give that to me because, oh, I'm so much more different from everyone else. Like, let's let's go ahead and let's call that out really quickly, just because I feel like it needs to be said. So I'm categorized as someone who does self-harm. You would obviously see a little bit of the scars, but that has been something that I've struggled with for like more than half my life. And I started really young, at a young age, so that was something that I had to learn like every day. Just like any other addiction, you just got to learn how to like not do it. And so that was something that I went a long time without doing, and then at the end of last year kind of picked back up, and then I stopped for a few months, and then early this year it was just like on and off, on and off. And so there's just a lot of stuff that was associated with that. However, um manipulation and deception and narcissism and anything that comes along with that, that's also a mental illness, just so you know. People who have commitment issues, people who have trust issues, those things, they stem obviously from a certain kind of trauma, and we don't want to discredit that because it's extremely valid. What's not valid is trying to point the finger at other people when you know that you've got your own stuff. It's just easier to project and deflect on other people. And so that's kind of what was done to me. It's like, okay, all of these different people have their things. You drink, you smoke, you have this, you have that. But let's target Jay because it's easier to point the finger at her. It's easier to point the finger at Chris and say, "Oh, well, she's doing this and she's doing that. She needs help." For me, I needed help. I'm not going to say that they were completely wrong. There was a moment where I like definitely and mentally I was having a breakdown. But it was extremely quick. My bounce back was so fast. I had an immense amount of progress when I went off to go get my healing treatment, and it was just really nice. It was nothing that what I've expected, and I got to meet a lot of interesting people that were willing to share their stories through me. So that's where the confessions are going to come from. Can't give you too much information because I want you guys to stay tuned for that, but it's going to be amazing. And for those of you who are just tuning in for the first time, so the confession series comes from the blog that I have at confessions.life. And I have decided this time around that instead of just putting the words out there, I'm going to summarize in videos through our YouTube channel, the Cozy Corner Crazies. So it's going to be amazing because you'll get to see like both perspectives. You get to like read it on the confessions, but you'll also get to like see and hear like the context in between and all of that. And so the confessions was something that I started a couple years ago, and basically it's just like the personal perspectives versus the actual experience. So like, you know, the professional explanation and the personal experience. So whatever you experience personally and whatever you go through in real life can be explained through professional explanations with psychologists, therapists, etc. And so I like to do a little bit of both. And up until this point, I'd been a little vague and a little like general with it. And this time around, it's going to be completely open. Like I'm opening Pandora's box, putting myself out there completely vulnerable, but also with the opportunity to share the stories of the people that I came into contact with. Different types of mental health issues. Obviously, I was just like diagnosed with anxiety and depression, and I had some PTSD because of some recent events that happened in the past few months, which you guys will get to hear a little bit about that also. And it was just so much that was happening in my brain and so much that was going on, and there was a lot of hormone imbalance and a lot of things biologically that I could not control. And I really did try to the best of my ability to keep it all under wraps and try to not involve people in my drama. I'm not somebody who I'm not like a deceptive person. I'm not somebody who intentionally tries to hurt people. I also feel like there are a lot of things that happened that kind of got blown out of proportion. A lot of things were said about me that were not true. And I just think it's very interesting how the people that we most trust, like I have trust issues. So like when I finally open up to somebody and then they are the ones who hurt me the most, it's like, dang, like, so now I have to like relearn how not to like make other people suffer because I've been hurt. Because I don't like that. I don't like it when people are like, you know, they take their past hurts and then they put it on other people. It's just not fair. It's not the right way to go. It's not fair to anyone involved, especially oneself. So I'm currently still working on trying to stay open-minded and just being how I am. It is hard, I am not going to lie, but it is getting a little easier now that I've distanced myself completely. Like I'm off the map right now, and I am getting a fresh start, and I'm getting to start over, and it's really nice and it's really liberating. Difficult, of course, because you know when you start something new or when you leave behind your comfort, it is difficult. So I'm not gonna like say it's not been difficult. However, your girl is resilient and she bounces back. And I really thought, even in myself, like I said in the last video, I thought that I was going to stay down, and I'm on fire right now. Like I'm just feeling really good about myself, and I'm feeling really happy, and I'm doing it all alone. And I think that's the best part, so that I can determine what is best for me, because the only person that's going to be able to know what I need is me. And the only one who's going to be able to pick me up is me. And I have an amazing network of people who are like there, like I'm in these groups and I go to therapy, and I'm not ashamed of that, because there are things inside of my brain, you know, that even though I am intellectual and I'm independent and I'm able to, you know, be an inspiration to other people, I still have my stuff going on, you know, and I still need some stuff to be worked out, things that I didn't even know were there. They were like in their dark little corner hiding. And so I'm not ashamed of that. We are total advocates for any forms of accountability that you feel like you need: counseling, therapy, support groups, help groups. And so I'm involved in a little bit of everything. And I used to do that, even when I felt like I was in a good place. And then somewhere along the line, I kind of just like fell off because I thought that those things were stupid, or listening to other people who thought that those things were stupid and they weren't necessary, and I don't need that. And I started picking up on those things, and then I kind of just felt discouraged, like, well, yeah, maybe it is kind of pointless, maybe I can just do this on my own. Or listening to the opinions of other people about certain topics and certain struggles, and I started feeling bad about myself, like, well, yeah, I'm not there anymore, but I kind of have dealt with that, and I guess I can understand how that person feels because I've dealt with that. And it was just like a very like confrontational back and forth, lots of differences of opinions on the particular topic of mental health and addiction. And so, like, I started feeling down on myself, and then I didn't want to really go to the groups anymore, and I didn't want to go to counseling, and it was just a lot of poor decision making that I made. And yeah, I'm past that because everybody has issues, and sometimes there are other people that are just better at hiding that than others. And so I don't want to hide anymore. I am perfectly healthy now, but I've gone through my stuff and I've gone through my ish, and I've come out of that also. And so, like, I'm just proud to be a part of the community that I am now and the networking that is helping me continue to work through my PTSD, because it's so, like, flashbacks and memories. And so there's just lots of stuff that's happening right now that I did not plan for or anticipate. And my depression and anxiety is officially under control. Like, I feel hunted. Like, you just don't even know. And I honestly, when I think about how I could have allowed myself to get so far, it made me feel really bad, because I was like, whoa, why couldn't I control this? Why couldn't I do this? Why couldn't I do that? And then I actually found out, based on like the tests that they've done, there was like stuff going on in my brain. And I was like, wow, for real? So, like, there's nothing that I could have done to try to correct that. And they were saying, no, there's nothing you could have done except for, medication. And I did like some of these, they call them like biosound and like red light therapy, and just stuff that you can't really do on your own. So it was like things that stimulated the brain through sound, through sight. It was just, oh my God, I'm just like my whole mind was just blown by all of the different types of things that you can do, in addition to talk therapy. That's great too, but there's other stuff that sometimes the brain needs. And so, like, I got like a little shock, like, and yeah, so like my brain is like back on track. Obviously, there's lots of things that I'm gonna still have to do, like staying away from the toxic people, high stress environments, things like that, just to make sure that I don't fall off the edge again. But I found, as I was going through these therapies and as I was in the groups, I realized that a lot of my issues were coming from other people. Now, I'm not going to like victimize myself, because I'm not a victim. I made my choices. I opened my heart, I opened my mind, and I became very vulnerable to a lot of people that were not ready for that. However, there were a lot of things that were done to me. And again, I'm not a victim, but I have been abused. And a lot of my abuse most recently came from people that I love. And they may not ever see that. They may not ever see it like that. And trust me, like, I forgive them, because I know what it's like to be hurting, and sometimes you don't make the right decisions. And so I get that. But it happened, and I am in that, and I am trying to heal from that, and I'm trying to recover from that. And I never realized how much abuse can happen even if you're a willing participant, which was something that like killed me. Hella. So, but it's amazing. I'm so excited, because I know that a lot of people are going to relate, and I just want to be that encouragement to let people know that, yeah, you can crash, but you can also get right back up, and you can keep fighting for life. You can have a passion that you never had before, and you can reignite some old passions, like what happened with me. I wasn't writing or posting videos for a long time because I felt like it was stupid and pointless. And I found my creativity, and I found my spark, and I found my passion again. And it's an amazing feeling. So, if you're going through it right now, you're not alone. If you're in denial about going through it, I would highly recommend that you explore your options and try to find a peace and a health in your mind, in your body, and in your spirit. And if you are somebody who is just like me, who just wants to like encourage and do all of that, then go for it. Yeah, it's a pretty taboo topic. I won't lie. It's very difficult when I have these conversations, especially so like I recently got invited to go talk about my experience at one of like another group that was connected to me by the network that I'm currently in. And it was really hard because it was like fresh, I'm like, "Oh, you want me to talk now?" Like, I just got back. And so I almost didn't do it, but I did it. And it was an amazing experience, because I got to meet a lot of people that were scared to talk about their stuff. And, me openly wearing my scars proudly, and just obviously not proud because I did it, but proud because I'm a warrior that came out wounded and still fighting for life, and still having a passion, and still having hope, and still having love, and learning more about forgiveness and grace and mercy. And I am different. I feel different. And it's going to take some time to mold the person that I hope to be. But I'm not giving up on that fight. And I don't think that you should give up on that fight either. So, I hope that you'll stay tuned for the intro that is coming very quickly this week. I'm taking a trip and I am going to blow it all open, and it's going to be amazing. A very significant trip, and you'll find out why. I'm so grateful for you guys, and I hope that you will follow along on the journey with the new confessions at confessions.life. Bye.